starting up the Illuminite business. We manufacture some of our own stuff. Is anything we're wearing? Oh, actually, my headband is something that we did at our factory.
Today, as a matter of fact.
Yes, just today. Oh yeah, we made Meg's shirt at the factory. So we do all sorts of stuff, but it does give us a place to run the business out of, and it gives us about 15 or 20 stitchers that can put stuff together for us.
Actually, some of you in my class and Dr. Bide's class went to the factory a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, that's right.
And we did the whole, we did a tour there. But what happened was that Sue was actually talking about the fulfillment, like pick, pack, and ship aspect of their business, and they were doing that part of it for Illuminite.
Right.
So she had firsthand knowledge of some of the issues that were going on in terms of fit and things not being shipped on time, and sort of has probably more of the history of Illuminite than a lot of people that actually worked there, because, you know, there was turnover and people were leaving the company and whatnot. So when, you know, people needed history of anything, they would actually go to Sue and be like, okay, because she worked with so many various people along the way while you were probably there, right?
It's true.
For sure.
I became an expert, for sure.
She is an expert. Yeah, so this is our design room. Some of you were there. It's a little messy, but actually that's a good day. It doesn't look so bad. So in this space, oh, here's Gwen. She's way in the back. That's Gwen's our pattern maker. And basically, this is our space to create. We have our color boards, design boards, all that sort of thing that we talk about in design process. This is our space to do it. It's a really cool, it's a really good light. So it's really interesting where you kind of find yourself. I feel like I find myself back in a lot of old factories. So no matter where I go, I kind of end up back in a factory somewhere. But it's great to have a design space along with sample makers and cutters and people that are actually making product right in the other room, so we can go back there and we can, you know, see, we can literally, you know, make a pattern, take it out to the floor, cut it, have it made. Hey, here it is, does it fit? And we kind of do a lot of that all within this space, so it works really well, and it takes a lot of people, so no one's ever really working on any one thing at their own time. Yep.
So this is one of our designs. We don't have the style here now. This was actually a print that we used to use the Illuminite on. And it was designed for us by another URI alumni, Jackie Rayner. She graduated winter of 2010. We worked with her to develop a kind of a bolder statement of prints that was a little bit more fashion and could still be used with our ink. So the interesting thing about developing prints for Illuminite is that it's all one color. There's no way we can create a design of flowers that has different shades and things like that. It's really like line drawings, you know, black and white ink drawings. That is basically what we're stuck with, because you have to consider the thickness of the ink as it's printed on the garment. If you have a space that's too much, then it's going to affect the hand of the fabric, as well as well, actually it would be more reflective, but it wouldn't be a wearable garment if you like just blobbed this thick ink on the entire bit of the shirt. So a lot of the other prints that you see are a bunch of small lines or dots where the ink is printed on to cover a larger space without really affecting the hand. So we use two different processes to get our ink on our fabric. Overseas, our supplier is one of the only ones that can do it for us. They use roller printing, and we get whole yardages of fabric that have this Illuminite ink on it. It has to be a very special thing, because a lot of roller printers use magnets for compression and to keep tension on the fabric, but having little aluminum bits in our material, that can obviously affect the way the beads are facing. You can flip them upside down, completely damage the reflectivity. So we have to use certain technology just to get the ink on the fabric by the roll. The other method is screen printing, which is how we used this artwork. Just take it to, well, there's some challenges with that as well, because a screen printer is usually only a 5 by, or 15 by 17 space if they're just doing logos on a t-shirt. So you have to figure out how you're gonna fit that. Like the necklaces on Meg's shirt was a small screen print size. This was actually an entire screen print. Overseas, we got up to 90 centimeters wide, which helps us cover a larger space in one swipe. And all of these methods add cost to our garments as well in just the development of the fabric. It can get up there pretty quick. So you have to figure out what's still aesthetically pleasing while being cost effective. So these are a couple examples of our other garments. We use the silvery quality of the ink on top of a silver fabric so you can't really see it, and then it all of a sudden pops out at you.
So that's the dandelion print actually right here as like an all over. So you can see in this jacket on the left, like it's not screaming out at you that it's there, but the best way, or one of the best ways to actually see the reflectivity is take a photograph.
Yes, taking
So
a picture
that's, like,
with the phone.
the
So you can actually, on your way out with the dress forms up here, if you wanted to check it out, take a picture with the flash on, and you'll see it light up for you. The next one, this is the dandelion print used in a number of different ways. After Jackie had worked on the initial design, I manipulated it in Photoshop to be able to meet certain needs, like the hip placement on a tight or on a short, then to cover a larger space on our swing tank. So yeah, that's trying to stretch the limits of our design.
And a lot of our stores, they want a lot of things. I mean, they obviously want a garment that works, but they want something that might be more universal, so they want like sort of this all-over print, but then again, they sort of do like something that has a little bit of a story, so this whole dandelion thing. So we kind of go back and forth with it, like the argyles that Michelle has on the center of the argyles are actually a print we call Ferenz. It's just an all-over print that Sue has on this one. So it's kind of a story within a story when you design the collection. It's not really just about the garments or the fit or the whole big picture, but it's about the prints too. So it becomes sort of this other layer that we have to think about. So this one here is a collection called the Bling Collection. So it's like the shirt I have on, so it looks like necklaces. And what happened was when I first thought about it, one day we were sitting there, I don't know, just working on something, and I kind of looked down and I thought, oh, you know, like this ink actually reflects silver, so maybe I should do some sort of like jewelry kind of thing. So I had my bracelets on, and I kind of put them over the end of my shirt, and I thought about doing something that looked kind of like jewelry on sleeves, which are like arm warmers that you just pull on like an arm, you know, keep your arms warm, and then runners will pull them off or whatnot. So I thought about that, and I actually worked with Jackie. That was probably the first thing we worked on with Jackie. And so I pulled out all these tear sheets of jewelry, and then I had this idea, and so we kind of talked about it. Jackie went back and worked on it for us, and then after we did just the sleeves and the short sleeve, we decided to do a long sleeve. So this is the long sleeve here. So on the left, it's, you know, just in daylight, so it's printed, and you can clearly see it. If it's a gray shirt, it'd be a little different, but on the black, you can see it. And then on the right, that's what you see with the flash. So you see, you know, the silvery and all that kind of jewelry sort of thing. And then actually, oh, Michelle has a headband because you know, it's interesting when you start working. You know, like you can work and think, oh, everything's going to be great, and I have this collection, everything's going to come out perfectly. And then you go into production, and production is a whole other layer of problem area of issues, and we've been dealing with that lately. Where, like Michelle was saying, you know, one person can do this, one person can't do that. You're never really comparing apples to apples. You're designing it thinking, you know, oh, it's going to be on the roll, and I'm going to get so many per yard, and this is going to be my yield, which is going to be, you know, how you figure out your cost. And then, oh, can't do it, it's brushed on the back, and as soon as it's brushed on the back, can't do it on the roll, got to do it in the, you know, and it's going to be this, and then all of a sudden your yield goes sky high because you have a lot more waste. And then you end up with waste, and you're like, what do I do with this waste? Or you get something printed, and they print it on the wrong fabric, with the stretch going the wrong way. So you end up with a stack of panels this high of this print on the wrong fabric with the wrong stretch. So some of those little issues have been something that, you know, we kind of brainstorm as a team and figure, wow, what could we do with this? And that's where those headbands came from. Little bling bands.
So aside from just being technical for the reflectivity, we try and make our jackets as competitive as possible by adding lots of features like thumb gaiters, MP3 ports, and like our waterproof, that's a men's style that has zip-off sleeves, so it's convertible when you're traveling on a bike for long distances, which a lot of people do, surprisingly. And yeah, so we still have to focus on the performance of our garments and make sure they're up to par with what our athletes expect it to be.
I would say that our goal by far is safety first, performance next, and fashion last. But the fashion part of it is so important because you're not going to sell a garment that is ugly. Just no matter if it's for running or cycling or going to a grand ball. So I hate to say that fashion is the least important part of the process because that probably disappoints you all very much. Because it's got, we are Illuminized, so we have to be about safety first. That's what we're all about. So that's got to come first. If the jacket doesn't perform, so if we say it's waterproof and it's not, then people are going to buy it expecting it to be one thing and it's not. And so therefore we're going to disappoint our customers. But it's also got to look good. And that's the whole, it kind of rounds out the whole story of Illuminite because went back to my history with Adam Ruzicka. His mission was to design fabric and or a garment that was safe and fashionable so that he didn't want to ride around looking like a crossing guard anymore. He wanted to look cool on his cycle.
And I think one thing that's important too when we think about the design of this product, and it's really important, I don't care what you're designing for who, is really to know what that goal is. Is it safety? It's 360-degree reflectivity. We can't just put reflective on the front. We can't just put reflective on the back. We have silhouette reflectivity. So it's all those little layers of it that mean something. We can't put, a little tiny icon and say we're reflective. Some companies can because they're not necessarily working with the mission statement that we're working with. But a lot of people will say, well, I have a lot of reflective stuff in my store, and you see it, and it's basically a logo printed in reflective, on the bottom of the garment, and we're like, well, that's really not what we were talking about. That for us, little reflective logo is something that we would put on all the time, but we're really more about, like Sue said, the safety integrated with the fit and performance. And to tell you the truth, the technical outdoor market are probably some of the most picky customers in the world because anyone who's, if you've said to someone, this garment will make you cut 20 seconds off your time, they're all over it and they're telling everybody they know because it's all about performance. And if it doesn't feel good, if it doesn't perform, if it's uncomfortable in any way, we hear about it. So it's a challenge. And we'll talk about tech packs a little bit on this one, but I know you talked a little bit about tech packs and what you're going to do, how do you speak with the factory or the Orient. And these tech packs that we do are roughly anywhere from 16 to 18
to 20
pages. Because there's a lot of stuff. Like you not only have, Michelle and I went through some yesterday, and you had 3 pages that just talk about like what kind of zippers you have. So it's interesting.
So this is an example of one of our accessories. We thought it was kind of funny. It's our hood. It's brushed on the inside to perform, and there's a lot of reflectivity coverage on the back, the sides, everywhere. So yeah, we can move on. So this is the cover from our latest catalog, which is our delivery will be in fall 2013, so it'll be in our stores in September this year. And you have the version from last year. There's plenty for everyone to take one of them. You can kind of see how we put it all together, and that's what our retailers see. So we're a wholesaler that sells to retail stores and a little bit of online sales if we ever get the website up and going with the most up-to-date products. But do you have anything on the site too? Yeah.
Well, this is just the inside of some of it, and I think one thing that's really important when you think about design and collections and whatnot is there's always people that want to change something. There's always people that want to be the designer for your company. It could be your sales reps, it could be your marketing director, it could be your president, whatever. But one thing that we always do at the beginning of the season is look at last season. What sold, what didn't sell, why did it sell, what was good about it, what wasn't good about it, what didn't work. And we really brainstorm, we talk to our sales reps, we get feedback, like I said. I mean, our customers are very verbal. If they don't talk to the rep or the store owner, they'll contact us directly, and they'll tell us what works and what doesn't work. And a lot of that falls on Sue's shoulders, because Sue also handles all of our customer support, and anyone that has a problem with anything will get a hold of Sue and complain about it. So I think one thing that we all do really well is really sit down and look and go, okay, what do we need, what don't we need? So we look back the last season, and a lot of our routes at Illuminite were in cycle. We got away from it for a little while because the market tends to be even more technical, and this year we got back into it with more cycle pieces, and it's really interesting. I think we learn something every time we put a new collection out, we talk to somebody.
We do, and I think